Great decorating is all about the details, including a gorgeous textured set of coasters. How we love a coaster. Functional. And why not be beautiful? Quince has a gorgeous set of woven rattan coasters in 3 terrific colors with their own little holder that you're going to absolutely love. And if you haven't visited quince.com/DTT yet, get on over there. It's everyday elevated living without the markup. From crisp 100% linen bedding and soft organic cotton towels to airy curtains and premium kitchen tools designed for everyday use. And the best part? Like Quince's clothing, their home goods are half the cost of similar brands. By partnering with top artisans, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. Elevate your space with home essentials from Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. Live the Girl Scout motto. Always be prepared. Hey everybody, I'm Kelly Wilkniss here with Anita Joyce, and this is Decorating Tips and Tricks. Today we're talking about how to prepare for unexpected guests. Kind of scary, but if you follow all these tips, you're going to be so prepared. You'll be nonplussed. You'll be opening the door, and people will be having a fabulous time, and you'll be having a fabulous time too, because you're not going to stress it. Although I did mention to my mother that we were recording this particular episode, and she said, "Oh, I'd say turn the lights off and bolt the door." That would be a very short episode.
Well, I think she's onto something there. I think a lot of these things are things that you can do to prepare even if you know the person's coming. And some people don't even want guests coming, even if they know ahead of time.
Well, so true. All of these tips today will apply to whether you know it or you don't know it.
But also, I did want to point out, it does seem like it happens less and less, because I know a long time ago, it seems like it was not unusual for us to have an overnight guest, but I can't think when the last time was. I mean, it's been a while.
But we did have that little thing called COVID. Remember that?
Well, I'm not even... Okay, take that off the table, because I don't know if that meant you had guests or you didn't have guests spending... Because I'm really thinking about spending the night guests. I don't know. Yeah. Did you go a different direction for this? Did you go for any guests or just overnight?
Oh, I kind of did a smattering. Overnight, for dinner, that sort of thing.
Okay. Well, I guess my point is, it seems like people don't stay in someone's home as often as they used to. It seems like people are more interested in having their space. They have more money. There's more options for staying in places. It's not just a hotel. Now you could do an Airbnb. And so I don't feel like this happens as much, but if it does, we do want you to be prepared.
We do. And so that's what we're going to lay out for you today, how to be prepared. The simple starter, I guess, is cleaning and decluttering. If you have to do it at the last minute, baskets and bins are your best friends. Of course, closets no one will open except you are also very useful, and under beds. But if somebody suddenly says, hey, I'm in LA or I'm in Houston and love to see you, or my business trip was extended, or I'm here, or you want to get together. And of course you want to extend the invitation, whether it's for dinner or overnight, but maybe you only have an hour to get it all together. So you want to run through the house and just quickly pick up things that are not in place. You want to store things away that don't need to be out. You may not even have time to pull out the vacuum. Maybe you just gloss over the horizontal surfaces. Maybe you do a little spritzy in the bathroom. And that's might be the only thing you have time for in the cleaning and decluttering area.
Several of the items I have on my list are things that I suggest that you do ahead of time, so that if you do have the unexpected guest, it's already there. So my first item would be to have a basket at the ready with a selection of teas, hot drinks, sitting out maybe with a basket, some sweeteners, with an electric tea kettle for the tea drinkers, and then a Keurig there for the coffee drinkers. And if you can put this in the guest room, even better. Some people actually have a little area near the guest room where they could maybe put it in a hallway or in a game room or something. But even if you don't have that, I think it's nice to even put it in the bedroom. But it's nice for people to have their own little space where they can at least get some coffee or tea.
Okay, so we're diving right into the guest room. So that's great. I have a lot of tips on that too. You want to add some special touches to this room or the area, even if it's just a sofa. You might not have a guest room, or you might have to dislodge a child from their room to create a guest space that's private. Or maybe it is just a sofa in your lower level, or it might even just be the sofa in your living room, particularly if you're living in an apartment or a townhouse or something like that. You might not have that extra space. But if you have some special touches, even if it is just this carved out area, it can feel a lot more special. I love Anita's idea of having this dedicated sort of guest basket for overnight guests, or even somebody who's just going to come for a little bit and maybe they just want to freshen up. They might not even necessarily be sleeping over. And yeah, live in the Girl Scout motto. If you have that done in advance, it's so much easier, which is really the through point of this entire episode, is having these things done in advance so you don't have to be running around and being stressed out about somebody showing up. So initially, do the clean and declutter if you can. If you have time for that, wipe things down. Have these things already done. You're not expecting them, so you don't know when it might happen, so you might as well get on this right away. Set aside a pretty basket and have it in this space, or have it in a closet where you can pull it out. As Anita mentioned, some teas, coffees, maybe even a candle, maybe put in a protein bar. You could have it in a basket or on a tray. I love a water decanter, and I have one that I found. It's really pretty. It's this cut glass little set, so the cup sits right on top of the decanter. And that would be so pretty, rather than just a plastic water bottle or even a reusable water bottle, something that elevates it a little bit, which we're all about here. And so I'll link that in the show notes. That can be so pretty. And also like maybe a little guest kit. You could do it in one of those little makeup bags. You know, you might just have an extra one around. Obviously, you want to make sure it's clean and new and all of that. But in there, maybe you're putting a toothbrush, moisturizer, toothpaste, a little face wash. I love the idea of tucking in a lavender spritz for the bedding. So if there is bedding, whether it is the sofa and a pillow or it's a dedicated guest room, they can give themselves a little spritz that just feels really nice and really feels special, and that they weren't unexpected.
I think that's a great idea. How about a luggage rack in the guest room? The nice thing about a luggage rack is that it can be folded up and then just tucked in a corner somewhere, or even in the closet. So it's not taking up space when you do not have guests. When I go to see my mom, there's not any space for me to set anything down in the room. So I think this is something to think about. When guests come, they're going to have their stuff and they're going to need to put it somewhere. So think about clearing off. If you have a lot of stuff on the dresser, if you have a lot of stuff on the nightstand, see if you can't clear that stuff off so that people have a place to sit down, their makeup bag, their purse, a few incidentals on the dresser, on the nightstand, and then some space in the closet to hang things, a couple of empty drawers. Because if there's no place to put things, they're going to feel awkward just throwing everything on the bed. And then that's not conducive to sleep or anything. So it really is nice to just leave them a little space.
Oh, yeah. I just did a guest room over with a client, and the only people that come are her in-laws, but they were kind of so uncomfortable, and they let her know that. that they said, next time we come, we're going to stay in a hotel. And she's got little kids, and the kids like to have their grandparents there when they wake up. So we got to quickly did the room. We painted it. We changed the carpet. They got a new mattress. We did a headboard. And we just thrifted some end tables so they could have some good lighting. And then the only other space in the room was a sort of regular sized chest of drawers, maybe 6 drawers, but we just cleared it off because that's a place they could put a laptop or put something else that needed to be set down. But particularly a laptop, you could still stand. It's like acting like a standing desk. And that's really working out well for them. So you don't have to have a separate desk or a lower horizontal surface, even if it's a taller chest or something like that. Don't clutter it up with things. It'll give people an opportunity to maybe put their laptop. Most people are going to be traveling with an iPad or a laptop now. And maybe that's where you put a little card with the Wi-Fi password. Hey, we'll be right back with the rest of the show, but keep listening so we can continue bringing you DTT. So have you tried Dupe yet? If you haven't, come on, dupe.com. It is going to be your new shopping best friend. And it's not just for furniture. I know I've shared with you about my coffee table dupe, but you can save money with Dupe on fashion, shoes, jewelry, and more. I just used Dupe to find an absolute perfect twin of this t-shirt that I wanted. It was an $80 t-shirt. I was not going to pay $80 for a t-shirt. Dupe helped me find the twin, like maybe the exact same shirt. Find something you love, and then you can find replicas, twins, and maybe the exact thing for so much less. Give Dupe a try today. It is really so easy to use. You just type dupe.com / before any product URL in your browser, and voila! It instantly finds you less expensive alternatives. They even have an app and a browser extension you can download. No account is required. No sign up is required. It is completely free. I know, can you believe it? But it is completely free to use. Stop wasting money on brand names and start saving with dupe.com today. So I would suggest also having a set of new towels, maybe towels that nobody uses. Even if you have to grab the show towels, I'm using air quotes, from a different bathroom and fold them up nicely and put them in the guest room. Have the towels there that don't look like they've been through the wash a zillion times. Certainly don't throw in like the old, Buzz Lightyear beach towel or something like that. You want to have something nice and new. It doesn't have to match, but if it can match, that'd be great.
I have a new towel story. When we had guests, we had some guests coming to stay with us, some dear friends of ours. I was so excited. I bought these beautiful forest green towels for them to use. They were all fluffy and cool, and I was just so excited about having them over. And they were wonderful guests, adorable people, and they were so careful to try to do everything just so well. They had used the shower, and I think they decided, we're going to be, we want to be good guests. And so they decided to wipe out the tub, even like wipe out the water from the tub, which is really going above and beyond.
But I would have these people over anytime.
Listen, what happened was not their fault. It was my fault. Because I didn't even think about these green towels. So they wiped out the tub. Well, do you know when I got up there, the tub was green because the dye from those towels had it came off, of course, got some water in the tub, but it just looked so weird. And I thought, oh no, I should have washed those towels first just to get that dye off. And can you imagine the horror? Yeah. Here they're trying to be nice and it's a green ring all over.
They must have been green too, though.
I know. Maybe that's why they left in a hurry. But anyway, I want to also go back to what you said about the mattress, because this really is something that happens a lot. Is we get a new mattress and we have an extra one and people say, well, let's just put it in the guest room, because either we don't have a mattress in there yet, or maybe that one's even older. Who knows? But I do remember staying with my in-laws back in the day when we were newly married. And I remember we both just ended up in the center in this big hole. There was like a big sinkhole in the center of the mattress, and we just could not dig ourselves out of the hole.
Well, if you don't want the people to stay long or ever to come back, have a mattress like that. It'll work out. You can have your guest kit and your little basket and your fresh towels, but they won't come back anyway. So just think about things that you can do in this particular space or room to make people feel good. And if it's a tray or a basket, you can bring it out into the living room if that's where they're sleeping. Just make sure, obviously, that they have their privacy. You don't want your dog jumping on them in the middle of the night, or your kids or something like that. How about some classic books? Maybe, particularly if it's an unexpected situation, people might not have things with them to read. So maybe there's a couple of new classics in there, nice crisp binds or updated magazines. You don't want to make it feel like the dentist's office with some old people magazine. Something fresh, something current to have in there would be really nice too. I think that a little sprig from your garden or a little flower or something like that really goes a long way. A little tiny bud vase on the nightstand or on the dresser, or even if it has to be in the bathroom or if it has to be in the living room, something in there that says welcome and we're happy that you're here.
Down pillows and foam pillows so people can choose, because it really is a case where a lot of people prefer down and a lot of people prefer foam, and they don't seem to go back and forth. So it's nice to have some options there.
So now what if the person wants to eat while they're there, or you want to serve them something and it is a last minute situation? I love to have a bolognese sauce in a container in the freezer pretty much at all times. You'll have it prepped in advance. All you need to do is thaw it out. You can even thaw it in your microwave if you have one. And it's hearty. You've got some protein in there. And most people are not going to turn their nose up at a yummy bolognese sauce. Now, if you've got some gluten-free people, maybe you have some gluten-free pasta hanging around too. That will really save you in the food department.
Right. How about putting a chair in the room if you don't already have one in there? It's really nice to be able to have a place to sit down, put on your shoes, look at your phone. It's just nice to have some place to sit where you're not sitting on the bed. So I think it's very nice to have a chair in the room. And, some other things to think about are having a charger sitting out. I mean, that's super nice. Certainly maybe some cords here or there, but those chargers sure are nice to have because everybody's got some device to charge.
Oh, yeah, that's a great thing to have. Everybody's always looking for a charger. And just make it easy for the person. I like the idea of having a chair in the room because maybe they want to have a little downtime too. Being a host can be stressful, can be a lot, but being a guest too, you're sort of like a little maybe on tiptoes, you're in somebody else's house. You want to make this person feel like they've got their own space. And if they don't want to come out for a little while and they want to chill out in there, they don't have to be laying on the bed or sitting on the bed. A chair is a great idea. And certainly if there's not a closet in the room or the closet is used for some other type of storage, at least that's a place where they can lay their clothes over it. So yeah, if you can tuck a chair in there, all the better. So anyway, I jumped into the kitchen, and so let's go back in there and talk about the pantry. Now, maybe somebody's coming over and it's not a sleepover guest. So these apply, obviously, if the person's just coming over, a neighbor popping over. So have your pantry stocked. This is great for you, your family, guests aside, just to have a well-stocked pantry. And everybody's seen these lovely grazing boards, or, it's just a glorified sort of cheese board, something you can put together easily, not something that you're making hors d'oeuvres or appetizers or trying to put something together, because you don't want to be in the kitchen doing all this busy work when your guests are sitting in the living room waiting for you to come out. You open the pantry and you're just pulling out these pretty jars and boxes of things, and then you just do this spread. You don't even need cheese because cheese is perishable, and maybe you're not ready for cheese because you didn't know these people were showing up. So nuts, seeds, olives, pickles, chocolate can even go on one of these boards, a specialty jam or something to go on some crackers that you might have. An unopened box of crackers can probably last a long time. Stonewall Kitchen, if you're not familiar with that particular brand, is so great for their specialty jams and chutneys. Our absolute favorite in our house is the roasted garlic onion jam. It tastes great on everything, from a baguette to sometimes I'll throw a dollop of it in a soup that I'm making. But on a board like this or on a platter, that is just such an interesting thing to put out. People may have never tried it before. And of course, if you've got some fresh fruit just on the counter, you could put that on your board. And you don't have to have a million different choices on this little platter or board. Just a few things that say welcome, easy to put together. Maybe you've got some little bowls that you can pour some of the nuts in or something like that and just make it look real pretty. Maybe add a sprig of something from the garden, a little greenery, and voila, you are the hostess with the mostest.
I had a next door neighbor, Barbara, and she would pop over.
Barbara, have you heard of texting?
She lived next door. And she would pop over, and this was a long time ago. She was my popover guest. For the first time, I was like, oh, well, hi, come on in. Well, then I realized this was kind of her thing, and I was prepared for her the next time. And I always enjoyed her coming over. She was such a delight, such a fun neighbor, and it was a fun surprise when she would show up on my door. But I started having a few things on hand. So I was prepared for Barbara. And one of my favorite things to have that I would serve, actually, I did this a lot for people just popping in, is I would keep raisin bread in the freezer, but, not old raisin bread, fairly fresh raisin bread. I mean, you don't want like 6-month-old.
Old raisin bread. Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, but raisin bread. And I would put cinnamon, extra cinnamon, sugar, and a lot of butter on it, pop it in the oven, and then serve that with a fresh pot of tea. And people, either they really loved it or they just pretended with me because it always seemed to be such a hit.
Oh, I would come back for that. I love raisin bread.
I know. I mean, but it was so simple. But there's so many things like that, like pound cake. Get that out and just put a simple sauce on it. Maybe a beautiful jam with a little, thin it out a little bit, put a little whipped cream on it. I mean, that's a delightful dessert. There's so many things you can keep in your freezer and pull out for guests. I think that's a great thing to do.
I wouldn't have thought of the raisin bread. The pound cake, yes, but the raisin bread, oh, I like that one. I do love raisin bread with tea. That's a really nice touch. Hey, let's go back into the linens and the linen closet. Anita, remember when we had bespoke decor and we had those beautiful linen bags?
Yes. Oh, I just was using mine.
I don't know why I never ordered those and used my employee discount. I don't have those.
Oh, no.
I know.
Oh, I have like 4 of them.
Anita, explain to everyone what they were in case they missed that.
So they were bags, your extra set of linen sheets that are not on your bed. You would put your flat sheet, your fitted sheet, and 2 pillowcases in this bag. And then you have these beautiful bags that all match and pull string at the top. And it's just such a neat way to stack them in your linen closet or in a drawer. And it keeps everything together and it looks so neat and tidy. And I mean, beautiful. I love these bags.
And we monogrammed them too, didn't we?
Yes, mine are monogrammed. Really beautiful.
Darn, I didn't get those. So I did find some that certainly were not as beautiful as ours, but 100% cotton. And they have big chunky wooden buttons. They're really good looking, but nothing like the bespoke decor ones. So if anybody has those out there, you are lucky ducks that you grabbed those. But what a great thing, even if you didn't do all your linens for the various beds in your home, but if you just had a dedicated set for the guest, whether the guest is going to be on a sofa or the guest is going to be in a dedicated guest room, and you obviously will know the size of the bed, you then have the set in this bag. You know it's for the guest. You're not rifling through the linen closet and holding them up. Is this the queen? Is this the
right.
fitted that goes with that one?
Oh, yeah.
You've got really nice sheets already folded. Maybe you've spritzed them with some of that lavender spray. It's all about taking the stress out of having guests, whether expected or not, and allowing you to enjoy the experience. If you are running around your house thinking, now I have to bake a raisin bread, or now I have no sheets. Oh, I have to do a load of laundry. Oh my gosh, what is our Wi-Fi password? You're not going to have any fun.
No.
And lots of times this might be around the holidays when people show up or they extend their stay. And you've got a lot of other stuff going on in life in general, and certainly at the holiday time. So we want you to be really prepared so you can have some fun too.
Excellent. That is such good advice. Be prepared so that you can have fun. Such a great sentiment. Talking about sheets, there are some very strongly scented detergents. There are some very strongly scented laundry sheets and maybe softeners. I don't know what the deal is, but there's some people that I walk by at the gym and they smell like a walking dryer sheet.
Oh, I've smelled that too.
You
I
have
can't
too?
stand that. Yeah. And dryer sheets are verboten in my house. No more dryer sheets. I haven't used those in years and years and years and years and years.
Oh, right. No, we never really did. I never liked those things. So the problem is the smell is very strong. Some people are very sensitive to it. It is highly toxic to your body. So I really don't recommend that you use any scented detergent or these dryer sheets or softeners. Any of the stuff that's strongly scented is probably full of very toxic chemicals. So it's not really good for you to be around them. But if you want to wear that, if you want to wear clothing with that on there, well, that's certainly your choice. But I would suggest that for your bedding, if you're having guests, that you use an unscented detergent on your sheets and bedding and not use dryer sheets when you're drying them. Just use a dryer balls like we recommend all the time. And then if you have a guest, they're going to have a much more pleasant experience. No one's going to say, where's that toxic smell I'm missing? Because this does give people headaches. So I would just recommend, I would recommend you doing this on everything in your house. But if you're having guests, I highly recommend that you do that at least on the stuff in that room.
Unless you never want them to come back again. And then by all means, tuck in some dryer sheets into their pillowcases. A tip for a laundry detergent, a company called Aspen Clean. I believe they're out of Canada. They were recommended to me from the Environmental Working Group app, and I love their products. There's no scent. They really clean. And I get it a 3-month supply sent to me. If you purchase over a certain amount of money, there's no shipping, and it just shows up at the door, and it's terrific. And it's paper packaging. It's no more plastic. So all good on that. I will link that in the show notes as well. And if I didn't mention that, I will also link the Stonewall Kitchen onion jam, and then you can explore all of Stonewall Kitchen if you don't know them. I think that I'm ready to open my house to some guests. So anybody wants to show up, don't tell me, because I want to show you how I am so ready.
Yeah, try to throw her off her game.
Just show up anytime and see if I am ready. I'm taking my own tips. Give me a couple of days though. I gotta bake that raisin bread.
No, you just buy it.
Just buy it. Okay, even better.
Yeah. Well, what about, the worst thing is being at somebody's house. I shouldn't say the worst, but one of the worst things is being in the bathroom and you run out of toilet paper. So, this is another thing to think about, is to make sure you have extra toilet paper in the bathroom, tissues in there. And I saw online somebody suggested having a toilet plunger in there. That sounds really scary.
I'm going to edit that out. I don't even want to.
Okay.
You can't even say toilet. I'm shocked.
Can you believe I even said it? I know.
I can't believe you strung those words together.
Okay. So here's just a few more things before we move on to the DTT Defines. What about a guest robe and the slippers in the closet of the guest room? That's really something that I love about a high-end hotel, is that really nice robe that you can put on. And so that's a nice thing to have in there as well. And one last thing, and that is to have some fresh flowers in the room. I think that is just one of the most lovely touches you can have.
Excellent. So what are we defining?
Well, I thought today we would define Mews, Mews. So it's a type of street. I know you know what a Mews is.
I covet a Mews.
Yeah, me too. So these are typically traffic-free streets. Often these are found in London, but when I was looking at townhouses, I found some townhouses in Houston that were based on a London Mews model. So if you're in a city, you might find something like this even if you're not in London. They're usually found behind a row of extravagant 18th and 19th century mansions. Mews streets are usually cobbled. They don't usually have sidewalks, and there's often no area for people to really plant anything. So you usually see when there are houses on these Mews streets, there are a lot of planters and trees that are in the big planters out there on the street. The Mews became known as a mews after the Royal Mews, which was a gigantic stable built on what is now Trafalgar Square. So the King's falcons were there. I don't know if you knew how they came up with the name Mews, but the falcons were housed there, and they would molt or mew. And that is from the French word M-U-E-R, which means to molt. And that's how these became known as a mews. So the mews houses were originally intended to stable horses and accommodate these servants. They were typically built for these mansions for the Georgian and Victorian elites in the 18th and 19th centuries. And then at some point, people began to realize that these mews houses were very practical, charming, and located in very desirable areas. And now these are a hot ticket.
Yeah.
And people want to live there because they're near all these great things: parks, shops, restaurants, schools, and they are really a hot property.
Yeah, usually sort of a little bit of country within a really urban setting. You come off the cobblestone street and then maybe you're on Kensington High Street or something like that. You're right there in the middle of it. We were going to rent an Airbnb Mews in London when we were there a couple of summers ago, but they didn't have any air conditioning.
Oh.
And Peter wasn't too keen on that because we thought it was probably going to be super hot. So we ended up staying in a nice hotel. But oh gosh, it was so charming. Talking about charming, my crush is a very, very charming house tour that was done by House and Garden UK. It's actually a beach house in Massachusetts in America. And the designer couple, one is British and one is American, and they just did such a wonderful job redoing this little tiny cottage. And I just love, the smaller the better for me. I just think it's so sweet and darling. And they have so many collections, particularly dishes. So I know Anita and any of you other dish fanatics are going to absolutely love to see how they displayed all these things. So I will link that in the show notes. I think you'll enjoy it.
Is that one that you sent me already?
I may have.
You sent me some. Oh, it was beautiful. I saved some of the pictures.
Yeah. Some of them are so good. I screenshot them too.
Yeah, I mean, they're really beautiful. My crush, ever practical, I found a UV toothbrush sanitizer on Amazon. So it is supposed to kill the bugs, kill your bacteria, and it has a 99.9% sterilization rate, and it uses the UV light technology. And it fits all toothbrushes, and it's just a little, maybe it's like 3 or 4 inches, and it snaps over the brush part. It has rechargeable batteries, and you just plug it in your USB to recharge them. But it lasts for a long time, and the sterilization only takes about 3 minutes. I mean, I don't know how effective it is, but I just feel better popping that on my toothbrush every night, and I don't really worry about it.
So it's like a little helmet for your toothbrush?
Yeah, it's like a little case. So, I mean, it might be nice if you're traveling because it would keep your toothbrush safe from, touching other things.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my daughter would love this. This could be a stocking stuffer right there.
Oh, yeah. No, it's very nice. And again, you just have to trust that it's really working. I mean, there's a blue light that comes on. So, I mean, but do I have the technology and the equipment?
There's
here
a
to
certain
test?
amount of trust in life.
There is, because I'm thinking, well, I'm trusting that it's killing the bacteria, but I don't know that that's happening.
Yeah. But yeah, when I travel, I just kind of wrap some like a Kleenex or TP around my toothbrush and chuck it in my bag. So this would be better.
But it's not right. Well, I mean, it's not just for like protecting it while you're traveling, but you put it on every night to kill those bugs. Well, I know, or putting a Ziploc bag around it. So I'll include the link in the show notes, and you can have all that information, because I know you don't care for rogue bacteria either.
Dare I say, who does?
Okay, well, thanks so much for hanging out with us. And remember, we are here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Want to talk to us? Well, we really want to talk to you. So let's schedule a design consult. Anita and I are here to give you individualized, actionable advice on how to create the beautiful home you want and deserve. It's so easy to schedule a design consult with us. Simply click the link in the show notes or head to decoratingtipsandtricks.com/consult. When we talk to you on the scheduled time, we will be ready with so many great tips, advice, and yes, tricks. So sign up today for a design consult. We can't wait to talk to you.